Super fast and easy answer for today's question. Do you like sealed? And the answer is absolutely not. I think sealed is the worst investment you can possibly make, and I only buy items to break them right away and then get rid of the items. The reason why is sealed used to be amazing, fantastic, and it was completely ruined by both TCG Player, eBay, and the way that they change structures of sets. Nowadays, cases are largely mappable, right? You can say, hey, I only get 2 SERs, so you stop at 2 SERs. So for all I know that, if there's 10 boxes available, they're both duds, or all 10 are duds. For, Dragon Ball. And then for Pokemon, case hits are like $30 right now, or $60, whatever it is. Insanely low prices, right? So if the price is that low, why would I want to open the item? Like if I spend $100, I can make 60 back. That's not fun. That's not enjoyable. And the reason why this happens is you used to have a formula that was very simple, right? If you grew up in the world of cards, how it worked was there was a certain amount of boxes. Your store would get the boxes, and it was a pain to order on the internet. You had forums, you had but eBay was nowhere near what it was now. It was slow, we had dial-up, the whole process, not like this. So generally, every time you got a card, it would go into a binder. You would forget about your binder. It would just be in someone's binder. It wouldn't be available on TCG Player. You wouldn't even know how much the card was worth. And you didn't care because you just wanted to lick the card. And I make that joke because the large amounts of the cards we bought when they were Pokemon, you could tell the kids licked them. And that's gross. But it's a thing they do because they're like 8 when we bought them back in 1999. And kids are just stupid. But, so that being said, this new formula that we're noticing is it's kind of like a race to the bottom, and that's where you want to buy stuff. Best example is Crossworlds. Crossworlds was the most anticipated set because the boom of Dragon Ball occurred. When the first 2 sets of Dragon Ball came out, there wasn't that much excitement, and as a result, they had very small print runs. Then those products got bought out, and the boom was starting to happen. They didn't know it was the boom, but people wanted to buy up product. They wanted to buy up stuff. And so the print run was massive. How massive? Well, during the boom, we were able to buy cases of that set and boxes at $35 a box because distributors didn't care about it. They literally were like, hey, let's get rid of it. And that's what screws up the market, is that distributors are ruining a large amount about this game, and they ruined the entire framework for it. I do not expect the market to ever repair itself until we get rid of distributors, and I think it's going to take 2 to 3 years. And then at that point, whatever comes out, I think direct markets will be it. Because you're seeing Magic the Gathering use more and more direct markets. You're seeing Bandai use direct markets. You can get certain folders from them, certain binders. I think you're going to see that transformation happen. And any company that actually takes advantage of direct markets, you will see them survive and have a high amount of profit margin. I think a great example of one that I always wanted to go private that hasn't done it yet was Universe. I love Universe cards. Big fan of the My Hero storylines and such, just because I really like the anime. I am a super big softie. I'm super sensitive, and I suck at making any amount of human interactions go well. So that being said, I love characters like Deku and stuff who are also softies, who are, it's a different storyline. When I was a kid, every guy was rough and tough. They were all badasses, right? You had Royal Kenshin, you had samurais that were just unstoppable. They didn't have men actually talk about their feelings. So I always liked that My Hero was very easy to get my wife into, right? She liked it. There was a lot of little drama built in. And then you see that with some animes like in Naruto, right? But even in Naruto, it's kind of it's like grit, right? Well, my power is never giving up. And you're like, is that a power? Or are you just bad at losing? So I always thought those would be a good one because their items don't seem to do as well on TCG Player, right? Because people don't know as much about My Hero from an IP in the card games. It's just a reality of it. And there's not as many players as there were for collectors. So same idea here is also for Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is massively sold at Target, Walmart, to the point where now stores can't make money. And if stores can't make money, they don't want to buy up the product. So I'm actually really curious about, and the people who are going to make the money will be those who probably go pretty deep on Fusion World. Because Fusion World will be a brand new game. That means that the sets might be limited. I have no clue. I didn't order any. So that's where you can make some money, is if you get the right item, you can do great. But I got burned on the last few where like I have wild resurgence. I have no desire to buy up sealed product when I have to take a loss on items that I bought at cost. Like that's not exciting. And frequently I just open the items and sell them myself because you get more money than the sealed. And as long as that continues, I don't foresee any of us liking sealed product, and I don't think it's a good investment in the market. The only things I ever honestly invest in and I throw into my safe and forget about is largely stuff that I know I can't get more of. If there's a prize card and I have money for it, I buy it up. I saw a cool post, somebody had the side event winners. Man, those are cool. There's only 7 of those that exist. But they're not worth what they should be. I think he wanted a very respectable price. Something like that, man, you can buy up if you have the money. And then when there's finally somebody in the market who wants a master collection, yeah, they can afford it. And you're like, hey, I think this should be $5,000. And they can't argue because you have 1 of 7. And I think that's where the true money is having rare items pulled, because there's so much of the singles out there that unless you're just chasing like a desire of just pulling packs, and I think that's the other part to talk about before this long video, is that what we're seeing is when people run out of money, which they're doing in this economy, right? This is one of the hardest years for the economy. Everyone's complaining about, hey, I don't have enough money. Businesses are being greedy. Heck, even Chipotle has raised their prices 4 times in the last 2 years, okay? So everyone's prices keep going up, but there's not as much money being made. It's really problematic. So what do we see on Whatnot? What do we see on Drip? People are ripping Chinese packs that are like literally $10 you can buy on like weird websites. And, they're only selling them for like 25 bucks, but they're making money, they're happy, and the people who are getting the product are happy because they just want Dragon Ball art. You see the same thing happening for like knockoff Pokemon cards. People just want the fun. The experience, what I always talk to you about, is where you need to invest and focus on. So you have 2 different types of experience. You have that FOMO experience, and you can't target that. You can't guess what it's going to be because things go up and down and it's so weird unless you create a hype around it. Some people do that because they're naturally just really good, charismatic people. I always talk about bro math. We could not be more opposite of people. I am a hyper kid who's super excited about games, and that man is a well-polished collector, right? But if you ever see his posts, you ever see his content, it is well refined, it is well polished. If you ever talk to him, it is amazingly articulate. All of it's perfect, right? That brand creates hype. So I can guarantee you when people see that, they might come to Dragon Ball. They can create that. So that's kind of what he creates just by trend, by being that. Whereas our brand is just about fun. We are just here to actually have a good time. If you come to my Whatnots, you're going to see us just talk about the product that you're opening, talk about the scene in Dragon Ball. As far as profitability and stuff, I don't know what's going to go up in time. If I did, I wouldn't invest in some of the stuff I've done. I've invested in weird stuff that has completely done terrible. I was dumb enough to buy into NFTs. So clearly I don't know everything about the market. But I can say this, I know for a fact that sealed, it's not where I want to spend my money.